sorry.
Okay. Okay, so you can hear and see us okay. Okay, yeah, sorry for the delay, everybody. We kind of got distracted through different things, lots of technical difficulties, and we are now covered with worms, which is good fun. I guess I'll go first with the show and tell. I was trying to work out what I wanted to do for my show and tell, and I kind of regret what I thought was what I was going to bring was a bionicle. If anyone remembers bionicles, yeah, that's something.
No, bionicles.
So bionicles. The first ever show and tell I remember was when I was in year like 1, maybe nursery, and I brought in this bionicle. So as opposed to showing that, I'm going to just describe this bionicle. It's beautiful, it's red, small, really like, you know, those kind of like evil bionicle looks quality. The actual thing I brought was just what I bring everywhere, which is these little sketchbooks, which I hand bind and then hide in spaces. So I have 2 with me, and I will find somewhere to hide it. Not sure where yet. And the sort of moment comes, and I hide one. I had one yesterday in the Shoreditch town hall. That was quite fun. So yeah, I've now hidden 100 or so of these, and I've given out about 50 or so. Yeah, I think that's me done. Okay, who wants to go next?
Can you guys hear us? In the Zoom?
Yeah.
So.
That'll do, I guess. We have audio recording as well.
I brought some of my work with me, so I will. I brought a lot of stuff, but I'm just here, so. My goodness. So this is a big painting I'm working on at the minute. And I also do a lot of puppets. So I've got some little guys in. Here's one. Oh,
nice.
So I do fluffy, muppety ones out of socks that I don't like anymore. And then they become little characters. And I've just started doing some more marionette ones. So all its body's going to be built up. This is just a shell. This is going to be a big unicorn horn. Some little cat ears. And this is going to go with him. It's a little pee-pee pool. But yeah, some context for my work. I do a lot of like character building. So I've got lots of different characters that exist in this universe that I've built, and I bring them into lots of different art mediums. So I build video games, I do film, sculpture, puppetry, collage, digital illustration, painting, like absolutely anything I can get my hands on. And this is one of my characters who's based on my teenage angsty self. And this is based on a dream that I had, which was really, really weird. So I had this dream where it was based on like my life experiences, but then also the characters in the dream were from my universe. And then when I woke up, I had like a physical body experience. So there was like 3 different things connecting, like my dream world, my real life, and then my like other universe at like the same time. It was mad. So I was like, okay, let's just do this huge painting. And I'm going to magnetize lots of little creatures all the way around it. I'm starting to make this big worm actually, but it's the lambton worm, which is like a folklore story, which a lot of like Geordies are taught when they're like super little. So yeah. But I have lots of these guys all in my studio. There's like 14, 15 of them. They all have different names. This one, Anastasia Rabbit. Yeah. And this one has a best friend.
Do they become, like, do you use them to perform?
See, this is the problem that I have with my puppets all of the time. So they appear in some of my like film work that I do, and sometimes I display them with like installation or sculpture or paintings. But I never ever do live performance. But everyone is desperate for live performance, and I'm like, oh, someday, maybe. And I never know how to show these guys.
That's the same struggle I have.
I never know how to show, because I really like showing them, like as a sculpture with my things, and people are like, I don't get it, I want them to move. Why are they so like static right now?
Like the fact that
It's
they're
not
static.
I like it.
It's an object.
Yeah.
And the fact that they should move, but they don't, it's kind of great.
Yeah. And everyone wants to touch them all the time. I had a lot of problems at uni. Like, they used to get destroyed a lot because people used to come into my space and play with them. And I was like, no! They have lives and families. Don't take their eyeballs off. So they're very precious to me. But they're always very confusing in gallery spaces. People don't really know what to do with them. But I love them.
There's always space for everything, I think.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Love the energy and colour.
Yeah, it's super colourful.
I like see
My
so
whole
much
life
of
is.
you in the picture.
Hmm?
I see so much of you like in the puppet.
Yeah, I look like all my artwork. Like my whole room is. It's like I have to live in this super rainbow colourful world. Yeah.
Also, sorry, what's your name and pronouns? I didn't catch
No
that.
problem.
Does anyone, should we ask the
Yeah.
virtual people? Does anyone have a question?
No.
I don't know who mentioned.
What's your name?
Okay, we need to read these.
Sorry, what's your name? Can you hear me?
Yeah. Oh no, I didn't. My name's Mia.
Yeah, and so my name's Titus.
Hello. Our names before. I didn't say my name before I started talking, which is.
So realist.
Hi. Hiya. Mia. Hi, nice to meet you.
Who wants to show next?
I'm happy to.
Yeah.
It's not a big or.
Otherwise, I'll just keep
Anyone?
showing different things. It's best if someone else takes over.
A few little bits. Which direction do I have to be looking in?
So come and join me
basically,
this way.
That is like really
This is the.
This is the
spot.
hall.
Yeah, I just stayed here.
Okay. All right. So my name's Catherine. Hello everyone. I'm really into. I haven't got much time and space in my life right now because life is very hectic and stressful. But two things I'm really into is this thing I call like the provenance of shapes. So where different shapes and forms come from. And kind of I'm a bit interested in like the remnants of actions, like stuff which is like that. I'm really into that there. I'm really into that. And when I was just doing I did some little drawing bits on the train on the way up. So I'm really, I brought my colouring pencils on the train. So these are pictures from just like my walk to the station, and I'm really obsessed with like the shapes that the sky makes between earth and land, and when you start to make them into flat, plainy things. And so it's just the start of I've been maybe, I don't know, variously drawing shapes from the sky for a little while. And this was another, I'm surprisingly slow at colouring in. It's also what I learned on the train. I thought I've done more of these. I'm also really interested in like, how we have like words constantly surrounding us, and I just wanted to start to do some drawings where I just start to alliterate out the words, and then I'm probably going to do something with the shapes afterwards.
Are these power lines that you've drawn?
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
And this was like, I'm
There's
obsessed.
a lot in Sheffield.
Yeah, like this man, this street, he's been up this ladder. That's the telegraph. That's the green lines, the power lines. Yeah, and like how I almost wrote like over-connected up there, but I didn't quite do it. Yeah, just like how all of that stuff, that infrastructure and whatnot. Oh look, and there's another one. So just some sky that's not blue and me thinking about some shapes. Yeah, and I never was like I printed 11 pages of sky shapes to colour in on the train, and I didn't get that far. But it's okay. I've got like a 3-hour train journey back.
long
so
time.
it's more and I really enjoyed just sitting there in amongst all the football fans and like people going places on a Saturday with me, and like there was like I think it was like a Japanese family who was sat. I think they were travelling like. It was like an older couple and a son, and I was trying to guess like were they visiting or did they all live here, or they just had the feeling of like a family out and about, not on their normal everyday routes, and like they were kind of looking at me, but they didn't speak to me or ask me any questions. I don't know, you know when you just have like exchange of glances and whatnot. But anyway, and I just enjoyed sitting there colouring in a public place.
No, that's awesome.
Yeah.
In terms of like when you decide what colours to use, does it come like intuitively or like
Yeah, kind of intuitively. I mean, the sky I would never do blue.
Yeah.
As my starting point. And then, yeah, kind of what I felt like, and I don't know, yeah. Yeah.
awesome? Yeah, I like the colour contrast.
I don't often go quite so primary colour. But yeah, so I'm just going to do more of it and see where it goes. But it's a new little, I don't know, it's not totally new, but
Hello, project.
yeah, little investigation.
I have an idea just about because of that runway. Like maybe I could like get into the pool and then we could like hold that phone.
Yeah,
and
I think
switch
that's
the
good.
sound on that one, just so I don't know.
Because the sound is crazy.
But like I guess because we're not really close, like it doesn't.
Oh, possibly. Maybe.
Like maybe we can check.
Oh, when it's
Yeah.
good to text
Because it
that.
normally like detects the closest sound and then blocks the further away sound, but we're not like
Should we ask?
yeah.
Can you actually hear what we're saying? Or is it something
Really?
like-
Yeah, no, I think we're okay.
We're okay.
Yeah, I think so. Everyone's giving a thumbs up. I think we're okay. Okay, thank you very much. Do. Anyone next?
Does anyone virtual want to?
Yeah, virtual.
Can you hear us at all as well?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, amazing. Yeah, I unfortunately have to go in like half an hour or so I can go next if you want.
Yeah, great.
Awesome.
Yeah? Okay, I know what I can do. I'm gonna I'll post photos in the chat and then you can pass me around. Apparently I can't do that. There's 1, 2, and there's 3. So is that working? Okay, I think that's working. This is like kind of more of my recent things. So I'm very interested in kind of like old science and where it's and like magic and where they kind of intersect with each other, especially like in like kind of old, like super old, like ancient alchemy things where they sort of almost blended like science and belief together, if that makes sense. And so a lot of the work I do is very illustrative, I guess, like it's all hand drawn and then it's printed. Like I mainly do on like photopolymer printing. So those 3 are all photopolymer. So it's does everyone know what that is, or should I explain it?
If you could explain it, please. Yeah.
Don't know what it is, would really like to know.
Yeah, so basically, I'll see if I've got more photos of the process, but like basically what you do is you get like a plate that has like a light reactive like film on it essentially, and then what you can do is you can get an image on acetate, put it over it, blast it with UV light, and some like what's underneath the image hardens and can be like washed away. So that way it sort of like burns the image onto it, and then you can essentially like ink it up and kind of intaglio print with it. And it's so it's like kind of like a mix between like screen printing and like lino printing, but it's like the best one for getting like super high detail essentially. And that's kind of what I really like. I sort of like doing these really intricate designs. And so on like two of them, the one with the eyes on it, that was sort of based off of an old theory called like the doctrine of signatures, which was like this idea that God essentially left signatures in the world in like different plants and things and what they would help medicinally. So that one specifically is based off of like the eyebright flower, which was supposed to help your vision if you ate it because it looked like an eyeball. So the idea was like I was making this sort of magic circle using like the flower and like brain neurons, and the idea was like it essentially would like improve my own vision doing the painting. I'm doing the illustration because I'm short-sighted. And then the next one, the one with the suns on it, I was really inspired by like kind of quantum physics and how it's like I got really deep into it and I probably still didn't know much about it, but essentially like they haven't quite figured that out yet. They need to kind of crack this like theory of everything that like connects kind of microscopic physics with like macroscopic physics. And I kind of wanted to do this like kind of magic circle, like using like old alchemical elements that kind of like had the same sort of like ethos and like mixing it with like modern ideas to kind of create this like spell to make it work, if that makes sense. And then the third one with colour, that's like my most recent experiment because I hate colour normally. I'm like not a colour person whatsoever. So that was like my first experiment in colour, and it's a tri-colour print. So it's essentially like I wonder if I've got like a photo of the plates in the process. I think I do. But it's the three different colour channels that I like split up on Photoshop of the image. Oh, there we go. So you can kind of see it in that photo whenever it sends. So it's like the three different colours that have been split up and then like kind of reprinted on each other to kind of build the colour back up more or less. And that's like, yeah, I'm technically fairly new to the process. I like first learnt about it almost exactly a year ago when I went to like Woolwich Print Fair, which very excitingly I'm now exhibiting at like this November. So it's like a nice like full circle thing. But like that's kind of my main thing I'm exploring at the moment is like printmaking essentially and those sort of themes. If anyone has any questions.
Wow, that is so amazing. I love the print techniques. I like absolutely love like the visual style, the sort of conceptual like background to this. It's like so interesting.
Yeah, the colour piece is extraordinary. It's sort of one that I keep coming back to, wanting to look at the most. I was very excited for that one. I can't quite. It's sort of almost disturbing me in a really positive way.
Yeah, I love
I sent the colour picture. Oh, I did. Oh, I sent the colour picture only. Oh, okay. Yeah. Sorry, I sent the one that had. I've got like an image that has like the prints of like all the separate colour channels of the colour one, so you can like kind of see how it's built up. I accidentally sent it to only Annie. No, not send it to everyone.
It's also just like such an interesting like topic where like I guess science and like religious like thought kind of intersect. Like I didn't. Yeah, it's just very interesting. How long ago was this?
I've always been like really interested in like old sciences and things, and I could never really figure out why. And I think I'm just very interested in like the human psyche, essentially. Like, oh, I sent it to only Annie again. I actually physically can't send it to everyone. And oh well, but yeah, I'm just really interested in like the human psyche, and especially like the way people kind of create things when they don't have the knowledge of that makes sense. So I found it really interesting looking at all of like these old systems that people would create, like this kind of doctrine of signatures and like old like alchemical systems, and kind of like what they would kind of create as facts with the little knowledge that they had, and then what we're probably now in our day and age going to be like looked back on by people in the future as like what we deem as like the facts and exactly how the world works, if that makes sense.
It's also like the sorry, Karen.
No, you carry on. Yeah.
It's also like the compartmentalization of like science, art, spirituality, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Around the Enlightenment. And that's just like...
I was always like very interested in physics and things. Yeah, so like my older sister, she did like physics at university and things, and I was always very interested in like space and science when I kind of got into art. And then the more I kind of learned about physics and things, the more it's kind of treated the same way as art in a lot of ways. Like, I really want to do a project on black holes because I saw a documentary about how the first black hole was like photographed, and because obviously it's like so deep in space it can't be photographed in like a traditional way, and like a lot of the techniques that they were using to kind of create all of the imagery was like essentially artistic techniques and like using kind of like computer generation that I've seen like a lot of artists do in their own work. And it was like something I found really interesting, how like the different like STEM subjects and like creative subjects are like a lot more closely linked than like a lot of people consider.
Yeah.
Thank you, Annie.
Full colours.
Yeah, sorry, Annie, if I keep accidentally sending you messages instead of sending them to everyone.
Yeah, it keeps doing that to me as well. But yeah, that's the image Annie just sent. That's like the 4 separate like color images, and then those are printed, like overlaid and printed on top of each other to create like the full color one that I sent. And that was just like a kind of container I saw in the Natural History Museum, which I thought looked very cool and sciencey. So I kind of edited it into, it was like a display case, and I edited it into kind of like a science, like alembic, because I thought it looked like some sort of like old machine that I found really interesting. I wanted to do like a 4 color print of it as well, because in sort of like alchemy with kind of distilling like different materials like sulfur, lead and mercury into like distilling it into gold, like using a philosopher's stone. I was like, I can kind of do that with like the different color channels, but like using this modern system that they didn't have in the past, if that makes sense.
I think it's like interesting the way you link alchemy with printmaking, because I feel like printmaking itself is quite magical and also quite not ancient, but yeah, just like quite an old form of art making as well.
Yeah, I hadn't really thought about it in that way, to be fair. I just I spent like many years, like I did like graphic design digitally for a while, and then I was a painter for quite a long time, and I did illustration, and I kept getting stuck, like I can't figure out what exactly I want to do, and then I kind of came across all the different methods of printmaking, and I was like, oh, I can kind of combine everything that I like doing into this one practice. So that's kind of how I've ended up here, really. But yeah, as I said, it's still fairly new to it technically. I think I did it for the first time in May this year. Like the sun one, that's the first one I ever made, and that was in May. And then I did the eye one next, and I very just recently did the alembic one at the bottom. And I'm working on one now as well.
Awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. That was really exciting to see.
Thank you. That sounded really sarcastic. I wasn't supposed to be. I'm sorry. I'm doing like a million things at once at the same time, trying to get ready for work. So I feel like I'm really like only like absent-minded. But if anyone didn't understand anything I said, just like send me a message and I can chat about it.
Definitely.
It was great. It's good.
Does anyone
Great.
want
Thank
to
you.
Can I go next?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'm just gonna use my, I hope this is okay, just use my like computer's camera. So yeah. Nice little tour from my house. Okay. So this is kind of like what I produced potentially for the exhibition. Sorry if it's not very good. Light-wise, maybe we should probably just send a picture, don't know. But yeah, this is not going to work. Yeah, I'll just send some pictures, but essentially it's there. Sorry. Actually, you know what? Does someone else want to go next? Because obviously I haven't really figured this out properly yet.
Yeah, can do. That's fine if you prefer a little bit more time. That's absolutely fine. Who would like to go next? Or anyone else in virtual? Anyone?
Yeah.
Does anyone like that? Does anyone want to
very mouldy ice cream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you see why I've wrapped this up. So this is ceramic piece. So when I created this, I didn't have anything in mind. When I found out, like, so basically it was the day of my birthday. An artist I'm fond of, Titus, he passed away, and I wanted to create like an ode to him. And like the eye is very much reminiscent of his style, and I just put in my own style, because usually my style is like very like abstract, like very silly and energetic, and I wanted to like try and incorporate his style, like, and like try and do an ode basically to his art style, and this is the first ever ceramic piece I've ever done, and so you'll see like there's cracks underneath the glaze, and basically my partner is my mentor. Like she's a real like she's been doing ceramics for a while now, like 10 years, and so like all these techniques in terms of like adding slip, glazing.
Would it be okay to like bring it a bit closer to the screen?
Sure. In your face. So it looks like that.
Cool. Wait, so what's it made of?
So it's made of some type of clay, terracotta clay.
Whoa.
Fired in a kiln, and then painted with some interesting slip colours. So basically.
Yeah, very nice.
Sorry?
Yeah, they're nice colours.
Yeah, thank you. And then like I've added like glaze to it afterwards. But yeah.
Wait, so you had to fire? Did you have to fire it, or did you just dry it?
No, yeah, fired it. First fired it upon creating the sculpture, and then painted it after firing it. And after painting it, I've fired it again, and then you add a ceramic glaze to it to make it shiny, and then fired it again. So it's been fired 3 times, 2 to 3 times. Yeah, and so this is like a completely new direction. My stuff is normally like this, but this is like this is ceramic version of my stuff. So it's like abstract, but it's usually very like kind of intuitive. Like I don't really have anything in mind, and then like it's kind of I've adapted it more to like a more political angle. Like you can see the bombs at the top, and I've added damned to commemorate the School of the Damned, and so yeah, so basically yeah, it says ceramic piece, but in my usual 2D style that I paint onto canvases or like paper with. So yeah, not particularly deep, like in terms of like the way I explain it, because I'm not like an art student. Like I've not gone to school for art, or like I'm a biology student, but I just feel called to art, and so like so that's yeah. So I want to explore this more into the future. I have an idea involving keys and leopards, but yeah.
I think it's really cool how like various people in the chat have just like sort of coming from like these sort of scientific, like it's kind of becoming very interdisciplinary, and like kind of, you know, science is like creative, like the world is full of these like strange, you know, phenomena and stuff like that. It's great.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a scientific process to actually like ceramic and art generally. It's it's like just learning about like Eden's work. There is a process to it, and it's like there's also how one interprets the art can be scientific, metaphysical. And like even like the way I separated it into two faces, it was like psychological, like two-faced nature, like almost like explaining like how politicians act. But yeah, that's another interpretation.
It's quite a like bold structure, like made as your first ceramic. Like, I don't think I would.
Yeah, like I perform better when I'm not like trying to plan ahead. Like it's as long as it's got like 30 minutes, 40 minutes, and I put it together, and it's like it kind of goes with the flow. But yeah, if I plan too much, then I'm like more of a perfectionist, and it takes me forever to do. So I just like want to just keep creating without allowing that critical process to kind of be part of the creation. So yeah, that's me. Thank you, guys.
Very cool. I always find it really interesting seeing people who are much more spontaneous with their art, because it's so unbelievably the opposite of the way I do it. I think it's really, really cool to see people whose brains can work that way, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I think it's really
definitely.
interesting as well, come from like a biology background. And
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah, I find it. Sorry, were you saying something?
No, carry on. Sorry, I'm just eating an apple at the same time.
Yeah, because I find because biological is very like methodological, it's very logical. This is my outlet outside of it. This is my escape, and so like there are no limits. I find, especially, and I find with ceramics, it's added another dimension of creativity, and just like there's no limits. Even logic can't limit the art. So I want, that's ideally, kind of where the process is going. And then whatever comes to mind, it can come during the process of it. So like I might put bombs or something, some more political stuff into it, like describing the political chaos that we're in right now. But usually I don't want to plan it too much, because I feel like it loses its freshness in my in the style that I do my work. Cheers. Who wants to go next?
Out of interest, because you are so kind of spontaneous with it, do you often find yourself throwing a lot of things away because you don't like it, or do you? Or do you tend to just kind of keep everything that you created?
So sorry, you're a little quiet. Could you say that again, please?
Oh, sorry. I was saying, considering how sort of spontaneous everything you make is, do you find yourself throwing a lot of stuff away, or do you think that's kind of part of the process if something doesn't go the way you want it to? You still keep it and continue to work with it?
Yeah, I keep it. I don't think I've thrown a lot. I keep it as record. I probably have like notebooks full of like arts that I don't particularly like too much, but I just keep it. And I do go back and look at it, because a lot of it is intuitive, and like I don't have anything in mind when I'm drawing. Like I've got a book full of like doodles, and it's quite interesting how like things just emerge, and then I look back at it and I see that as like some sort of reference material to create new things. Even though it might not look like the final piece, it's interesting. I find like art that I like is interesting, not particularly good or bad. As long as it comes from like an intuitive, like chaotic, or not chaotic, but like organic place. Cheers. Let's go next. Would you like to go next? No? All right, whoever.
Ness, would you like to go next?
Me?
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, so I've sent some stuff, I'm not sure if it's arrived or whatever.
Okay. Yeah, cool. 1 second.
Yeah, these are not the best photographs.
Yeah, no, this is
stuff.
good.
I was kind of
Yeah, no, this is
desperately
good.
looking for a better photograph. But yeah, so what I've been doing is like I make a lot of like drawings, and I've been trying to sort of move into like textile-based stuff. At this point, I've just been like printing stuff out onto textile, not myself. And yeah, I don't know if it's visible here when you look at the work, but I've just been thinking a lot about like alternative like medicine sort of production, like medical care in the world, and particularly inspired by an organisation called the Vinegar Collective, and they like 3D print medical gear. They like synthesize medicines for people that don't have access to medication, whether because of costs or their conditions not being properly catered for because of the number of people that actually have them. But yeah, I'm sort of not sure whether I should start moving away from this now, because in the first picture there's actually a 3D printer inside the sort of like structure that I've made. And I didn't get very far with actually 3D printing anything, so yeah. It's more kind of like an exploration than an actual piece, I'd say. But yeah, and these images are really not helping too much. And
So just gonna go to the second image.
Yeah.
Yeah, we haven't got to the second one. Nice.
yeah, so these are just different ways I've been trying to present these like drawings. The first one actually involves a 3D printer inside of the sort of textile structure I've made. There's a lot of like syringes and like medical wires, and like the second one has a few other bits attached to it, including you can't really see it in the picture. It's a prosthetic heart that's been 3D printed, like an image of that. And yeah, there's like a syringe hanging off of that as well. But yeah, it's kind of like something I've just really been interested in, and I'm just not really sure if I can continue to deal with it in such a poetic way. I should probably like get down to like 3D printing some stuff. But yeah, that's a whole other thing. Yeah, sorry if this isn't the best explanation.
No, it works. Honestly, we can see it pretty well. We've got it on the projector at the moment. We're all having a look. So your work is very big right now.
Okay, thanks. That doesn't make me nervous at all. I've got some better images of the actual pictures, of the actual drawings, I mean, sorry. So I can send those if you want.
Sure.
That might help. So there's that. And there's that. And there's that. Okay, is that working? I mean, currently I'm sort of like dealing with this crisis of like, oh, I don't know why I'm trying to assign all this meaning to like what I'm making. Like I had a sort of vision for like this massive like installation where these pieces were like hanging up and like interspersed around like 3D printers that were like actively printing things, or some sort of projection with like CAD designs on it, or something more interactive. But I honestly don't know if I've got like the capacity, space, or money to do something like that right now. And to be honest, I'm probably going to move on to a new project.
How long have you been working on this project?
So I've kind of been interested in like different aspects of like DIY healthcare for a while, and I guess the drawings I've done like over the past year, but I don't really know. The installation itself has been like in the last 6 months, and I really haven't been able to work on it properly because I don't really have a space. But yeah, I'm in touch with like different people who can 3D print. I just I should probably get more experimental about it.
Can you like talk more about the drawings and like what the kind of references are for the drawings?
Like I really enjoy writing about this stuff, but then I feel like I want to integrate like poetry or some kind of, you know, like artifact thing where it's like you're looking back from the future, I don't know, or you're looking into the future with these possibilities. And it needs to be like critical of like how like 3D print is a part of like this commodified technology as well. So yeah, it's kind of a lot of things at once, if I'm honest. I also wanted to have some like sort of mushrooms like growing in the space out of like books or like CDs or like ways that you could transport spores kind of under the radar. Like having these like artifacts around, like maybe seeing some of those chemical reactions actually happening in the space, but I don't know when I'm going to be able to do this or how. So it might have to go on the back burner.
And what would be the ideal setting to show this work in?
I don't know. I mean, because of the technology involved, I guess you sort of need like a dry space that wasn't. It's not really an outdoor project. Yeah, I mean, maybe even it could be something a bit more like interactive, but I don't know really. I mean, it could just be in my room. But that might become an issue. Anyway, yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing. We're just going through some of the images again.
Okay, I'm sorry about the very discombobulated and fragmented nature of the sharing.
It's absolutely fine.
Thanks for listening.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Are we done? Ooh, everyone very quiet. Anyone else want to share on virtual? Okay, I think that's it. Okay, thank you everybody for coming, both virtual and IRL. Yeah, I guess this is us signing off. Lovely to see everybody. Thank you so much for sharing, everyone.